Then the Amalekites came and fought with Israel at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, "Choose men, go out and fight the Amalekites. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the staff of God in my hand." So Joshua did as Moses said and fought the Amalekites with Moses, Aaron, and Hur, went up to the top of the hill. When Moses held up his hand, Israel prevailed. But when he let down his hand, the Amalekites prevailed. Moses' hands grew heavy, so they took a stone, put it under him, and he sat down. Aaron and Hur held up his hands, one on each side, so his hands were steady until the sun went down. So Joshua overpowered the Amalekites and his army with the edge of his sword.
All right, I need Hannah, Ziva, and Caden. Hannah? Ready, Hannah?
David said to Saul, "Let no one's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go and..." David said to Saul, "Let no one's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go and fight this Philistine." Then Saul said to David, "You can't fight this Philistine, for you're just a youth, and he's been a warrior since his youth." But David said to Saul, "Your servant has been tending his father's sheep when a lion or bear came and carried off the lamb out of the flock. I went out after it, struck it down, and rescued the lamb out of its mouth. If it rose up against me, I grabbed him by its fur and struck it and killed it. Your servant has killed both lion and the bear, so this Philistine will become like one of them, since he has defied the ranks of the living God." Then David said to Adonai, "Who has delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." "Go," said Saul to David, "and may Adonai be with you." Then Saul clothed David in his own garb and put bronze helmet on his head and clothed him in armor. David strapped his sword on his garment and tried to walk, but he was not used to it. So David said to Saul, "I cannot walk in these, for I'm not used to them." So David took them off. Then he took his staff in his hand, chose 5 smooth stones from the valley, and put them in the pocket of a shepherd's bag that he had, and with his sling in his hand, he approached the Philistine. Meanwhile, the Philistine drew near and approached David with his shield bearer in front of him. Now, when the Philistine looked at David, he disdained him, for he was just a ruddy boy with a handsome appearance. Then the Philistine said to David, "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" Then the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, "Come to me, so that I may give your flesh to the birds of the sky and the beasts of the field." Then David said to the Philistine, "You are coming to me with a sword and a spear and a javelin, but I'm coming to you in the name of Adonai Sebaot, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This very day Adonai will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down, take your head off you, and I will give your carcasses to the Philistines camp today, to the birds of the sky and the wild beasts of the earth. Then the earth will know that there is a God in Israel, and so this assembly will know that Adonai delivers not with sword or spear, for the battle belongs to Adonai, and he will deliver you into our hands." Then the Philistine rose and began to advance, drawing near to meet David. David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet the Philistine. David put his hand into his bag, took it from a stone, and slung it, striking the Philistine on his forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, so that he fell on his face to the ground. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone, struck the Philistine down, and killed him. Since there was no sword in David's hand, David ran over to the Philistine, picked up his sword, and drew from it its sheath, and slew him and cut his head off with it. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they fled.
Goliath is okay, just so everyone knows.
Righteous Father, the world did not know you, but I knew you, and these knew that you sent me. I made your name known to them, and will continue to make it known, so that the love with which you loved me may not be in them, and I in them. When Yeshua had said these things, he went out with his disciples across the Kidron Valley, where there was a garden, which he and his disciples entered. Now Judah, who was betraying him, also knew the place, because Yeshua often met there with his disciples. So Judah, having taken a band of soldiers and some officers from the ruling Kohanim, and Pharisees, came with lanterns, torches, and weapons. Then Yeshua, knowing all these things coming upon him, went forward. He said to them, "Who are you looking for?" Yeshua the Nazarite, they answered him. Yeshua tells them, I am. Now, Judah, the one betraying him, was also standing with them. So when Yeshua said to them, I am, they drew back and fell to the ground. So again, he asked them, Who are you looking for? And they said, Yeshua the Nazarite. Yeshua answered, I told you, I am. If you are looking for me, let these men go their way. This was so the word would be fulfilled, and that he spoke. I did not lose one of those you have given me. Then Simon Peter, who had a sword, drew it and struck the servant of the Gohen Gadol and cut off his right ear. Now, the servant's name was Malchus. Yeshua said to Peter, Put the sword into the sheath. The cup the Father has given me, shall I never drink it? Then the band of soldiers with the captain and the officers of the Judeans seized Yeshua and tied him up.